កម្មវិធីកិច្ចសន្ទនាកម្ពុជានិងពិភពលោក
Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue of Southeast Asia TV. Nowadays, wherever you go and you meet the young entrepreneur, you meet people, you drive around the road, you see all this entrepreneurship, selling something, promoting something, delivering something. But today I have Tom O'Sullivan, who's into real estate, into e-commerce, a bit of this cross-cutting, business. But we will focus today more on the e-commerce dimension in different sector, and I hope that we can share a bit our perspective, how we see the industry going, how can young entrepreneur can capture some of this idea, and hopefully we can push, harder and stronger the momentum of e-commerce for our economy, because I think this is the future. You catch the wave, you're gonna be able to sail through later on. So Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So anyway, before we start, I'll let you introduce yourself a bit. Okay.
All right. Sounds good. So I'm the CEO of realestate.com.kh. I'm from Melbourne, Australia originally. And I've originally moved over here. I lived in Battambang for 2 years. And as you mentioned, Siphana sort of identified the growth in e-commerce and internet in Cambodia, and finally moved to Phnom Penh and got involved in what I'm doing today.
Yeah. Well, so tell me a bit about realestate.com.kh.
So realestate.com.kh was actually founded in 2009 by...
That long ago?
That long ago. So, believe it or not, it was founded by a Cambodian national, Moak Chenda, somewhat of a pioneer in the real estate industry.
I remember in those days he fixed my first computer.
He told me.
In Cambodia.
He told me, and I think I said on email actually that, somewhat he should have been on the show, but he's a really, as you know him, extremely humble, somewhat nervous guy. So I came on the show as opposed to him, yeah. So he started it on the advice of an Australian, actually, funnily enough, because in this space, I guess, the real estate portal space, realestate.com.au was, the pioneer worldwide, and really in Australia somewhat moved the real estate industry online, so to speak. And then off the back of that, in most of the developed countries, England, Singapore, multiple in China, real estate portals started to sort of start up worldwide as the growth of the internet grew. So Chenda, the founder of realestate.com, started the website and it was extremely bootstrapped business for many years, and was very much of a hobby, but it was really funny, and you still speak to him today, right? From the heart, his passions, two main passions, are e-commerce and real estate. And whilst he was owning and developing realestate.com.kh, he was always working in the IT and tech department of real estate agents. Then I was living in Battambang, and I was witnessing the growth of e-commerce and the internet in Cambodia, and I have one of my best friends from Australia founded a company that has similar investments, believe it or not, in the South Pacific, in Papua New Guinea and Fiji. So I said to him, what are your thoughts on starting something like this in Cambodia? I'd never been in e-commerce before, and he works for one of the biggest investment funds in Australia, and he did some research on the Cambodian market. He's very in tune with Asian markets, and he thought it was sort of the perfect climate to launch a real estate portal.
So Tom, so from that relationship, you start the business.
Yeah, so which
took off around when?
About 2015.
Oh, okay. So it's quite recent.
Yeah, so we invested in Chenda's business in 2015.
Yes, but basically, what's that platform does? I mean, what made you distinguish the market from other platforms in real estate?
Yeah, so we often get confused as real estate agents, or are we a real estate agent?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so we're digital marketing for the real estate industry and associated businesses. So we work with over 90% of the real estate agents in Cambodia. And then separately, we work with a lot of the property.
So they provide the data input, right?
They provide all the listings. Yes.
Okay.
So we don't have a team driving around the street listing property. The agents do that, and they list on their website. But they also list property on our website.
So if a consumer wants to buy, why they go to you? Why don't they go straight to, say, Century 21 or something?
A great question, and often buyers do go straight to Century 21.
Yeah.
But we're the biggest resource of property.
Okay.
So when someone's trying to, if a foreigner's moving to Cambodia and wants to do research, if someone's looking to invest in the Cambodian market, we have all the properties. If a Cambodian's looking for a property in a Bore, then we have all the Bores on our website. So we're a resource. But also we say that real estate agents, well, it's super important for them to have their own websites, that they are professionals at sales, selling and closing a deal, whether we're professionals at digital marketing. So we work tirelessly of how to get more traffic on our website, and how to always sort of rank at the top of Google searches. We write a lot of content to educate buyers, both local and international. So we're really a marketing vehicle for the real estate industry, and the most convenient place for a buyer or a renter to find property or to learn about the property industry.
I see. Well, I don't mean to pry, but how do you see the growth now of the digital marketing in real estate? Are there other platforms that compete with you hands-on, or what?
Yeah, we have competing platforms, and sometimes we look at it, and I love Cambodian entrepreneurship, something I'm passionate about outside of the business. So yeah, we see multiple Cambodian startups, real estate portals that sometimes you look at it and you think, they're copying us, but then at the same time you love to see them grow in their own way too, right? Because there's nothing better for me and Chenda to see local entrepreneurs succeed. The sort of similar businesses to realestate.com, there's multiple examples, and in this industry, which should be defined as an industry, a portal industry. So we sort of sit in the portal industry, e-commerce space, and then we sit into the real estate space.
So in other words, you would consider yourself more in the portal industry, which happen to have real estate as one of the products.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Or product or a SKU, I think I was saying to you off air. So in this space worldwide, you have cars portals, although there's not really a dominant one in Cambodia yet, but there are a few startups. In cars, so focusing on vehicles only. And then jobs is a very common one.
I see.
So here you have Bong Tom, which I think was also founded in 2009, if I'm not wrong. Cam HR is another example.
So it's like company who specialize in human resource.
Yes.
Headhunting, that sort of thing.
Yes. But it's sort of confusing, but separately is you have HR companies that will do the headhunting, whether websites like Everjobs, Bong Tom, and Cam HR are focused on the digital marketing side of things.
Okay. Good.
So you can't necessarily go to Everjobs and say, I'm looking for this person, which a HR company will do, but you can search.
Okay. Good. So I think it's a good time to take a short break.
Sure.
When we come back, I want to delve a little bit further on how this sort of thing are supporting the economy, for example, right? Tom, you talk, with a lot of passion. I can feel that, and perhaps it's this youth, in you, and so are the youth in Cambodia. And I think, our economy is very much it's a young economy. Sure. It's a young population. It's compared to other countries, like for example, Japan, which is a very aging society.
Yeah.
Even a neighbor Thailand is beginning to be an aging society. The dynamism I see in Cambodia is this youth, this reverse pyramid where you have young population entering the labor force, young entrepreneur entering into the so-called cyberspace, tapping into the digital economy. This sort of thing is exciting. In your experience in that so-called portal industry, right?
Yeah.
How do you see that prospect? In terms of contribution to employment, contribution to growth, contribution to the economy. How do you see that?
Well, I think I checked my numbers before I came on air, but almost half of the population is now actively online. So I think last year it was a third of the population. So that's research done by We Are Social, I think, out of Singapore. And that shows how rapidly Cambodia is moving online.
Exponential growth.
Absolutely. And it really is driven by the youth. So if I can relate this back to the people in my team, right? For a while, we sort of had it wrong. We don't have everything right. But obviously, Chenda, the founder, is a little bit older than me. Yes, thank you for considering me young, but I'm 32, and a lot of our workforce is, 20 or so, 18, 19, 20, some are a little bit older. And I think for a long time we weren't listening enough to them, because some of the greatest ideas that have come up, from within our company, based on around digital marketing, has really been driven by them. And I report to our shareholders in Australia, and I'm always talking about how we need to localize our campaigns more. And for a while it was really a top-down approach, and we were delegating and saying, we need to do this and we need to do that. But listening to the youth within our company has made us grow more and get more reach. Just things like Facebook Live, right? Like, I don't sit in the office and say we should do Facebook Live.
What is Facebook Live?
Facebook Live is a live stream that you can do on social media. So it's pretty raw content.
Really?
But super engaging.
How does it work?
So let's say we're doing an event, and we want to promote the event. Then we would have a team going around with a phone, filming live and doing on-the-spot interviews with people. Now what that does is it sits on top of Facebook feeds, so thousands of people engage in this content.
But you have to promote early though, no? To let them know that...
Of course you promote early. Like, if we're doing a show, we'll still do print marketing, we'll do online, we'll do our website, we'll do emails. But to promote the show sort of on the day, to get even more people there, we would do something like Facebook Live. Or we're talking about doing a Facebook Live every day. It might be properties of the day, or news of the day, or real estate updates. And these ideas are really driven by the youth in our team. So I guess the e-commerce, the digital growth, will be driven by the youth of Cambodia. I think I might have sent you on email that big listed companies like Smart. I think have teamed up somewhat with Mekong Strategic Partners, with Stephen Higgins and that, and on a VC fund for this very reason. To invest in local Cambodian entrepreneurs in the e-commerce space. We've seen some Cambodian startups, like Chenda's, get funding from internationals.
Oh, good.
There's some pretty
In a way, it's another medium, to attract so-called not big foreign direct investment, but it's more like angel capital. People who put small capital, but to help entrepreneur kickstart.
Yeah, and different levels. I mean, companies like Rocket Internet, one of the biggest internet companies in the world, are in the Cambodia market with EverJobs. And I think it's also super interesting looking at this space because there's so much movement in it. So you do have international players entering the market, and then you do have local entrepreneurs with their own startups, often trying to get funding. Yeah. And it's interesting to see the competition.
But it's still nonetheless a low barrier entry.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, as you know as well, it's startup capital's low. Yes.
Yes.
Cambodia, considering the ASEAN region, it's a very easy country to do business in. So,
in what way? I mean, we're now in the ASEAN community, right? I mean, let's face it, we travel easily, no visa.
Yeah.
Cambodian, entrepreneur or consumer just take a flight to Bangkok or Singapore. It's like going to the local Satutapu market, right?
Yeah. Well, I say that as a Westerner, as a foreigner doing business in Cambodia, and I say it's it's the low barrier to entry, not just startup costs, but as a foreigner doing business in Cambodia seems, from our experience, sort of easier in Cambodia to some neighbouring countries. I can only speak of the experience of our neighbour Laos, because we've recently made an investment there.
Okay.
And simple things like, not simple things, but startup capital, for example, is much lower in Cambodia than it is in Laos. I think here, you need $5,000 in the bank, for example.
Yeah.
Well, I think in Laos it's over 100,000 in the bank.
What?
Yeah.
You need that much money before you can start a business?
Yes.
Wow.
Which we found out somewhat after the fact of investing in the asset. But which is a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a high barrier to entry. So if we get into the market, then competition's less of a threat.
But you look around Phnom Penh, right? When foreigners get off the plane, whether they're tourists, whether they're potential investor or businessman, the first thing that strikes you is the entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I agree.
You go to a say Tukok or Satutapu, whatever area, right? You go to this side street, right? You would think that, wait a minute, I'm in the commercial strip here. And you turn, you thought you go to a residential area. No, unless it's in the Borai, right? But in the old Phnom Penh city, almost every street is a commercial strip.
Yeah, and the Cambodian dream is to own a shop house, to start my own business and to live upstairs.
And then, but if you look back, right, and I can tell you because I was here since '93, that's how people start in their shop house. But 5 years later, 10 years later, they take over the whole row house. Then a few years later, they start taking the second row house there, and before you know, they change the facade. They have a nice building.
Yeah.
And now many of them become tycoon, so that entrepreneurial spirit is really get the Cambodian market going.
Yeah, I think it's a super entrepreneurial country.
Yes.
As you're saying. I mean, I drive around the street and I know it's small scale, right? But around Independence Monument, you see all the vendors with balloons off the back of a motor, right? Yes. And it's like, I swear I said this to someone very early that was working with me. I was like, that's entrepreneurship.
But you see, I have witnessed the trend, right? The pattern that most of the Cambodians who start entrepreneur, it look hard on them, but the money they make, you know what they do? They invest in the education of their kids.
Yes.
5-10 years later, the kids become an educated kid.
Yeah.
They take over the family business, and then they take that family business to the next level.
Yeah.
That's what I witnessed the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Is that the second generation are more sophisticated, educated, they speak English. I mean, typical is like your local partner. You know, basically, you know, imagine when we start fixing a couple computer. I remember in '93 when I came here, worked for the UN. You know, I brought the computer. He's in that ring-a-ding shop there.
Yeah.
And now he's a partner of a portal company.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up. I was about to mention him too because his kids were in the office the other day, and he has focused on making sure his children are extremely well educated. And I almost fell off my chair at the level of English they spoke, the level of cheek they had, the ability of them to engage with me just like this without it's phenomenal.
You know, I always say that with, of course, ASEAN, we're together ASEAN way, but economy-wise, business-wise, investment-wise, we always try to attract,
of course,
to our own country, right? And one of the issue is language. There was a survey, I forgot who did it, but they did the English sort of language survey, and compared to our neighboring country, Cambodia fared very well, far better in terms of English skills, because we're small economy and we always interact with the outsider.
Yeah, I just got back from Thailand actually, and I was amazed at how much Thai language there is in Thailand compared to how much Khmer in Cambodia, if that makes sense.
Well, look, I mean, and it makes sense in the sense that if your country has 70 million people, the mall receive 1 million Thai a day.
Yeah.
If I'm working in a department store there, and there's about 100,000 people walking in and out who speak Thai, why in the world I need to speak something else?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And in Cambodia, we don't have that.
Yeah.
So more than likely, the people that outside that you interact, more than likely do not speak your language.
Yeah.
So you have to make the effort to speak foreign language.
Yeah, agree. I mean, language here is a real interesting one. We don't think you can have a sustainable business as a foreigner without being Khmer focused.
Yes.
So our website and our content is in Khmer as well as English.
Good. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I want to start looking a little bit more on the prospect of the future. How do you see the industry, the portal industry, the e-commerce industry? How do you see the future shaping up, and what do you think we should do as a society, as an economy, as a country, to make sure that we have the right ecosystem, if I can use that fancy word, to propel that sector higher. All right?
Yep.
Tom, let's look at the future. What do you see the prospect of that particular industry, which you label as a portal industry?
Yeah.
How do you see it take place? What sort of growth and what sort of ecosystem, for example, payment system, that sort of thing, that will enable Cambodia to just skip the learning curve and, in this case, catch up with the neighbor in ASEAN?
Yeah. Interesting you mentioned payment gateways, because we're integrating the payment gateway on our website at the moment. So yeah, we are seeing PaiPay, which is a local payment gateway, and then iPay88, which is a Malaysian outfit. So similar again in terms of you have the local entrepreneur and the international entering the market to really sort of propel or continue to grow or to come up into line with the other countries in ASEAN, or however we want to put it, is to make sure there's these sound e-commerce, laws in place and being, passed through the government. There's other outfits like the ICT Federation, So Stephen Path, who's a phenomenal tech entrepreneur in Cambodia, who's really championing change and pushing on the certain bodies to make sure that we're, as an industry, setting up an ideal e-commerce, sort of industry in Cambodia. So it's super important that groups like that exist that sort of champion for all of us.
No, that's good. So the ecosystem that we have now, you just mentioned that the payment system is not an issue anymore, right? There are local...
There's teething issues.
Yeah.
Even with the banking system or with anything, like a certain practice comes out and that we've just experienced something that's delayed us, but...
Yeah, but right now I don't see any issue relating to payment. Okay, not wiring $1 million, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about e-commerce, you buy a bag, or you buy food, for example. You mentioned Stephen Pass, he launched his app, this Jaw, right?
Yeah.
Where you can order food, right? And my kid go berserk.
Yeah.
Because now, before it ordered from Meal Temple, now you can go whatever, right?
And you can pay on...
Yeah, exactly. You go to Brown, you have your card there, you wipe, So I think it's not an issue, but it's a start, right? You have True Money, Smart Lui, whatever. These are all form of payment, right?
Yeah.
Pay, right?
Pay,
Pay, right? Yeah. It's a local platform, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a start of this process, this micro entrepreneurial
it's phenomenal to watch.
Ecosystem there. Yeah.
And things like the payment gateway, obviously I'm not Cambodian, so I don't know, but it seems like the country will skip credit cards because the whole market they have debit cards.
Yeah.
And I believe banks are pushing credit cards. Well, it's amazing to think that people don't want the credit. And maybe the payment, gateways, the PayPays, the Wing, the True Money, and the others have assisted in this. So that's one thing that I can see that Cambodia is almost skipping.
You mentioned skipping, say for example, credit card, right? If you look back, right, when I grew up, I went to college, went to law school, right, and you look at the 500, right?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many 20 years later disappear. I mean, not off the chart, totally disappear. Look, who would have thought that? You grew up with Kodak, right? With the
very
film
true,
thing.
very true.
You grew up with Fuji, right?
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Now I went to Japan. Fuji is into cosmetic, nanotechnology, but no more in film.
Yeah.
Kodak totally disappeared. Who would have thought that a smartphone would someday, just wipe out one whole traditional industry?
Well, in our industry, we see that, and with respect to all print media.
Yes.
So traditionally, to sell your house, you have a sign on the front of your house, right? Then the first classifieds ad started in newspapers.
Yes.
And it happened here.
Yes.
And then agents moved to online.
Yes.
And they had their own websites.
Yes.
And then real estate portals come in that are the professionals in digital marketing. And that's where we're at now. So, yes, we've seen that evolution, even have seen it in Cambodia, in that 2 years ago there was a lot more property ads in the newspapers as opposed to now. But we still, not 100% of the Cambodian industry is online. So, we still have a magazine. The newspapers are still running property ads, but less.
The paper touch is still there. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
More for emotional thing. Like the fancy glossy magazine, you still want to feel it.
I 100% agree.
You still need that when you sit on the porch with your cappuccino. You still want to read
Very
that.
true.
Right? It's clear. But when you're in the car, that's what you scroll the news on your smartphone. Yeah. So I would say. I'm quite optimistic on how Cambodia, as a young economy, combined with this fourth industrial revolution, right? We talk a lot about fourth industrial revolution, which is more about, high-tech stuff in the factory. But I want to just take a small chunk of that so-called fourth industrial revolution to refer to the thing that we talk about, this advanced technology that is in the palm of people's hand that can help them, start a business.
Yeah, instant information for the user, which is super powerful.
Yes. So I think, all in all, you're optimistic.
Yeah, optimistic. I mean, I think the youth of Cambodia will really drive the e-commerce businesses in the e-commerce space. I think it's just starting. I mean, if we can look at, again, it's an international and a local startup, and I always champion for the local startup, but there's 3 or 4 taxi apps now, and Uber's come into the market.
Yes.
So super interesting to see how that will pan out.
How many other these local share riding now on the market?
With respect to them all, I don't know all their names, but I use XNet.
Oh, is that right?
Just because it was the first one I downloaded, right?
And they're local?
They're local, yeah.
And the tuk-tuk?
I think they do. There's a local tuk-tuk one, I'm sure.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's interesting to see that.
But amazing, how you would have thought that now a guy who have so little money to just get a tuk-tuk, right, from the province, with a small phone app, he can secure business, God knows from...
I know, it's phenomenal.
God knows from where.
Yeah.
Suddenly say, pick me up there.
Yeah.
In the end of the month, he got the money.
It's amazing the take-up rate from the drivers, from the tuk-tuk drivers, and how connected to the internet they are as well.
I tell you, the back to the English again. Once I went to the gym, right? And it used to be, I used to go to the intercon. I get off the car, and here's a tuk-tuk and a guy wearing a jean, speak English like, fluent English, right?
Yeah.
I thought he was a guest. So I went to walk in, go to the gym, and as I walk out, he was sitting on a motorcycle, right? And then a guest came out, get on his tuk-tuk, and
wow.
So I thought, my God, I mean, this guy, his English was so good that I thought he was a guest, not a tuk-tuk driver.
Phenomenal.
But for a guy like that to take on a smartphone and move to Uber or move to XNet, whatever, it's an instantaneous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There's similar story, nothing to do with tech, but my ignorant self, when I first getting started, I was in Tultumpung, Russian market, and we were looking for staff, right?
Yes.
And it's famously very difficult to find sales staff in Cambodia. So being ignorant, this woman just sold me on this memento, right? And I was just like, I said to my business partner, I said, she's a phenomenal salesperson, English phenomenal. And then, and I suggested we should try and hire her. And my business partner, Chenda, suggested to me how much money she was actually probably making through the stall at Tultumpung. And then, funnily enough, to close the loop on that, we're marketing at wet markets for Bore sales for our Bore clients.
So you see, I see a lot of hope for this economy, for our country. I think, again, like I said, the opening remark, that the age factor will be the major sort of like a catalyst to push our economy to move forward, to catch up with neighbor. And thank God that the region is very stable. In the ASEAN Economic Community now, market flow, goods flow, service flow, capital flow, all these things will be a big boon for our economy.
Yeah, totally agree. And it's going to be, it's phenomenal to be in it in some, in some capacity, but it's going to be fantastic to watch the youth of Cambodia.
Well, Tom, I want to say that we're coming to the end of the show too fast, but I want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
For coming and have a nice dialogue on the portal, on e-commerce, on the prospect of a new industry that will push Cambodia to, okay, one more time. So, Watam, thank you very much for coming to our show and have a nice dialogue.
Thank you very much.
And I hope that particularly the young entrepreneur would have caught a glimpse on what we have exchanged, and hopefully they be motivated. Hopefully we have motivated them to have more passion to work into the sector and to help get this e-commerce into a higher speed, you know.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time on your website.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so we're coming to the end of the show, and nothing else to add but to say that the prospect of e-commerce is real in Cambodia. Young entrepreneur can dwell into the sector with a very low entry cost, and if you work hard enough, I think there's an opportunity for you to grow in the future. It's a sector that is thriving very fast, and we can always dream. If Alibaba as a school teacher made it that big, why not you? All right, that's the challenge for you. Good night.